Hello everybody, I'm the Trybox Gamer. Welcome back to PS... Whoops, wrong segment. Welcome back to Minecraft Peaceful Edition. You sneezed. Give me the slime. Anyway, I just realized that last video I didn't say how well I'd survive in Dead Rising. I got too caught up in them. Actually, now that I think about it, 55%, or no, not 55, it was 56% chance at the most is the amount of... Say you run into some psychopaths, like that's the amount of chance that they're going to be wielding some form of firearm. However, if you take the chance of the zombies versus how many, psychopaths there are, chances are there'll be like... Okay, you know, for a fun number, let's pretend that we have to deal with 53,594 zombies in total. That's the amount of zombies that you're facing in this what-if scenario. Say that out of the 53,594, you got to deal with, at the most, maybe 43 psychopaths, and that's not including the guys with the guns. You're literally just doing with 43 psychopaths. So if you take that number, take the 43, it'll be 43 divided by 53,000. Such a big number. 594. Well, that alone is just 0.008, but we're not getting the percentages yet. We have to times it by 100. Which, percentage-wise of dealing with psychopaths, if you're going with all those zombies, is less than 1%. It's 0.08. And that's just with psychopaths in general. I'm not even including, the amount that has guns. It'll be less percent chance. So let's actually look into that real quick. So, I think the last video I said that out of... I think it's 43, because if I recall correctly, I kind of ruled it where I kind of counted Stacy and Sullivan's psychopath fight and Leon and Chuck's psychopath fight counting as one, because they kind of replace each other in the games. It just... I'm not sure how I feel about that entirely now that I think about it, but I think if one replaces the other, then it should count as one. I don't want to add too many numbers, but in total, you would have at max 43. So, well, I mean, reverse that. In total, you have at the max 24 that uses guns. So, if we take that 24, again, divided by the ridiculously big number of 53,594, we have 0.00044781132 as the number, and that's before we calculate the percentage. So we times that by 100, and that is just going to be 0.04. Kind of what I said. It's like, you know what? It's easier to just round it up and say 0.04% chance of running into a psychopath with a firearm. Now, how would I rank my survival with this? Because, well, normal people, when they run into psychopaths, they are kind of cooked. They're cooked. Or, there's no denying. Like, most people that you run into the games, they are cooked by the psychopaths. Now, you could argue that they're kind of cooked by the zombies, too. The only reason why the zombies I don't feel are too threatening is because with the zombies, if you give the incompetent AI a weapon, a good weapon, they can survive well enough. They can very much well survive against the zombie. It's the psychopaths that will do me in. Especially if they have the guns. Those ones definitely will mess me up. But with the map that I gave, the chances of me running into these guys are very slim to none. I feel like if it weren't for the plot, you'd probably avoid the psychopaths in game if you didn't have to go to these locations. I mean, no duh, Sherlock, am I right? So, I say for the zombies, I give it a rating of 9 out of 10. They're slow. Even dumb AI could, survive against them. That's why I'm putting it so high. It's because that main reason alone. The only reason why it's not perfect 10 out of 10 is that if I do get bit, I do get infected. Getting infected's not that big of a deal in this universe. Granted, I will say that it'd be very costly to keep you alive and to survive, but you could very much survive once you get bit, and that's why the zombies aren't that, you know, man, these guys are going everywhere. That's a cool place to look into. I'm probably gonna check that out when I'm done doing this. Maybe soon, I don't know. But you see what I'm trying to say is that if the infection was instantaneous, if there was nothing that keeps me from losing my mind, then I say it's a lot lower. However, if you get bit, you could survive. Zombies are kind of stupid, like, you can deal with them easily. They're also kind of punching bags if you think about it. Like, if I grabbed a child's toy and started beating one, I might break the toy, but there's a good chance that I kill it with the frickin' toy. Like, that's weak. Also, going back into their kind of dumb category is that, okay, a move that you can learn in Dead Rising 1 is called the zombie walk. You walk like a zombie, and you basically fool zombies. Like, you don't, like, cover your scent or anything. You literally walk like a zombie, and that fools them. That's kind of stupid. And if that's not convincing I'm dumb, well, I guess it's not dumb. It's more like they can't smell, because the cultists in the first game, they're not attacked by zombies, and it's kind of hinted that it's because they're covering up their scent through their cloaks. If that's all it takes to, get a zombie to get off your back, then that don't sound too hard to do. Just get something that covers up your stink, and you can bypass them. So that's kind of why I'm saying that out of 10, surviving the Dead Rising 1, 2 zombies, I would say give me a 9. Just give me a 9. The gas tub zombies that were introduced in 2, or the night zombies that pop up, like, they get more aggressive at night, I'd say 8 out of 10, because, they're more aggressive, they're more grabby, they might actually do me in if I get outnumbered. But even if they do get outnumbered, the thing is that you can literally climb up a kiosk and be safe. They can't reach you. They can't climb. So, yeah. Now, if I were to run into a psychopath, that rating is going to go down completely. That's going to be like, I don't want to say 1 out of 10 off the bat, because I feel like if you're able to outrun them, the ones that don't have guns, you could live. So, I'm just gonna say 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. They're dangerous regardless of what weapon they have, but if they don't have a gun, then there's a good chance that I could outrun them and survive. So, yeah. I think that should cover Dead Rising. If you're wondering why I got more into it with this game, it's mainly because I felt more confident in my answers. I kind of knew it just a little more than Resident Evil, the Evil Within. Yeah, definitely. We're talking about zombies. And actually, do they count as zombies? Does the Evil Within count as zombies? I don't know. I don't think they count as zombies. And even if I did think they counted as zombies, I could tell you right now that be like out of 10, I'd be dead. Straight up dead. Like, let's pretend that they count as zombies, and I'm putting that in quotation because I don't think they are zombies. I think they're just people who got mind controlled by a parasite or something. Again, it's been a long time since I played either the Evil Within or the Evil Within 2. I want to say probably not, on the grounds that I really don't want to think about how I'll go toe-to-toe with most of the enemies in this game. Especially if I'm going with my rule that the hardest difficulty is the canon difficulty, because Akuma mode is a nightmare. You want to know why? If you don't know what Akuma mode is one little tap, you are dead. Game over. It could be the slightest scratch from the pinky of the enemy, and it'd still be enough to kill you. Mind you, you have to deal with enemies that are very reminiscent of a love child between Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Daily. There's this dude with a chainsaw, he's scary. There's this lady that merges in with blood with large claws, she's scary. I think her name's Laura. And you know what? When I say she merges in with the blood, she literally goes into a puddle of blood and pops in to another puddle of blood. That is horrifying. You cannot escape. Unless you have fire on you, you cannot escape this lady. That looks interesting. I want to go look down there, because that's where I usually think axolotls are. Of course one won't be down here. What else is in the Evil Within that is horrifying to deal with as something to fight against? Because the whole thing's kind of frightening to fight against. Nothing in that game will give, like, everything in that game will kill you. Straight up. Straight up. It's no argument. If you're in the system, your best bet of survival is hoping you can find a place to hide until somebody gets you out. And even then, I think there was this one side mission in the Evil Within 2 where you do find someone, if you help them, there is a chance that they can escape, but that is a 25% chance of escaping, you know, without dying. A 1 in 4 chance. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I take those chances. I think I'd rather deal with the creepy phantom brain-controlled people than deal with that. Oh, and don't even get me started on the creepy phantom. Like, oh, there's this one enemy in 2. That's this poltergeist-like thing. She's creepy. She's creepy. She does a okay. When a enemy has this high-pitched voice that doesn't look like it belongs to an enemy, that gives me the willies. It's like, why do you sound so peaceful, yet look so frightening? Like, I can't with that. That just sets off so many red flags. Like, why are you sounding nice when you're not? Like, I don't know what the term is. I think you have a melody kind of sounding voice, but you don't look like you're peaceful. You look like you're gonna, you know, rip me to shreds. Like, that kind of feeling. And there's this other enemy, this lady with a lot of heads. I don't remember what she uses, because usually she's this big, hulky lady that, if you're not prepared, you better run. The good thing is you can run, so if you don't have any weapons, at least you could try to run away. I mean, who would you be fighting if this was in STEM? Because honestly, I think most of the main bad guys wouldn't be too interested into a nobody like I would. Like, you know, like a nobody like me. Like, I don't think they'd be too interested in me. I think they'll just let the lackeys go after me. Like, I think I'd be off everybody's radar. And I'm gonna say that hoping I'm off everybody's radar, because I know in 2, there's this one guy, I think his name's Stefan. He takes a lot of pictures. He seems to be the kind of guy that likes to toy with his victims if he finds me. Oh, I'm dead. He gives me the creeps. Everything in that game kind of gives me the creeps. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun action horror game, but I'm talking of survival, slim to none. Very slim to none. And that's me being generous. That is me being very generous about my survival. Like, I get the feeling that the first thing that I see will probably get me killed. Yeah, not gonna lie, it probably will get me killed. You know what's funny? This whole talk on the Evil Within was because I misspoke on what game I wanted to talk about next. I wanted to talk about Dying Light, not the Evil Within. But then I just got into a tidbit about it. With Dying Light, yeah, you know what? During the daytime, I feel like I have a 50-50 chance. The biggest threat during daytime, I would have to say, be the viral infected. I think those are ones that run fast at you. Worse is they could parkour after you. So, okay, if I'm given if the hypothetical is nice and it says, okay, yeah, you could definitely parkour about. Let's say that I think his name was Brecken from the first one. Yeah, the guy on the tower. I think if we were given some lessons by him to how to parkour, chances are that survival might be a little better. But if that were the case, then he's gonna expect us to be like runners, getting stuff out of the field. Unless we do poorly, then he's not gonna let us do that, because I think he wouldn't put anybody at risk to go out on a supply run, because that kind of puts everyone else on risk. So I don't perform well enough, chances are I'm just staying in the tower, which is still a risk. Don't get me wrong, it might be safe for the most part, but it's not completely safe. Now, say you're out in the open during the daytime. Best I could say is 50%, because the slow walking ones, they're a problem, don't get me wrong, but if you could get up just a little bit, you should be good. The only issue that you're gonna have is the virals, which can parkour up to you. However, I've noticed that they're pretty weak, so if they were to get hit, like a well-placed hit would deal with them easily. Like, straight up easily. How about the other infected, though? Because we do have more than the virals to deal with. We have the toads, the goons, I believe they're called. I don't remember the rest. Toads, I think, is one. The one that spits. You know, I feel like if we don't go too far from the tower, we should be fine. With the toads, I want to say 4 out of 10. I feel like I think we'll be fine against them. It's just that if we're caught off guard and they, spit a loogie at me, it's gonna hurt, but I don't know how badly it will hurt. Like, how painful do you think their spit attack is? Because, look, if it could one-tap a normal person, then yeah, 1 out of 10. The chances are, my best chance with a toad is if it missed me and I'm aware of its presence. That gives me time to either A, get away, or B, deal with it. It's just, I don't know how badly it would actually hurt me. I mean, again, I really wish I could use a protagonist as a point of reference, but the protagonist in this game is kind of an agent and probably a lot more durable than your average dude, especially, since you're the player, you're going to be more durable than a lot of people, just by default. Even on hard, like the hardest difficulty, so, Let's say that it does a good chunk of damage, but not outright kill you. Because look, while playing the game, I've seen AI, like, NPCs going up against, like, things like the Demolisher, and still, they might not survive all the time, but they could take a few hits. I feel like if an NPC could still get up from getting, wrecked by the Demolisher just for a brief moment, I think they could take a toad, at the very least. Maybe a couple 1 hit, 2 hit from their spit, maybe. And I think I'll just say for the toad, it'll be like highest 4 out of 10. Got more chance of killing it because it's got that range attack. Element of surprise is also going to do you in, but I don't think it'd be difficult to run away from. Now let's see, what else will we be fighting? There's those gas tank dudes. I don't think they're a problem to deal with. I mean, unless you hit them just right and it backfires, the gas tank zombies are more of a hindrance to their own zombies. I'd say give it a 9 out of 10. I'd say 9 out of 10 because, well, They could still hit me. They could very much still hit me. Right side with them, they can't bite you, which, oh, I forgot to talk about infection in this game. I don't think I brought it up. Okay, so if you get bit, again, they do have a drug to keep you from going completely, zombified, but you gotta be dealing with some psycho to get you more. So, if you really want to deal with Reyes, then that's your best bet to get more, but honestly, dealing with that guy's more of a hazard than the actual zombies. Like, look, I think I take my risk with the zombies rather than this dude. It's just too dangerous for my liking. Like, if I had to deal with him, my survival rating, I'd say 0 out of 10. He might keep me alive for the moment, but I guarantee you he has a plan to get rid of me when I prove to be useless to him. Hello, Panda. Don't mind me. I'm just here trying to make an auto sneeze farm, I believe. And don't ask, I saw it on YouTube. I'm just hoping I could recreate it. So we went over the common ones I could think of called the fighters. We have the viral, which are the ones that... Now that I think about it, look, we're bringing into infection as a survival category, which, like, no doubt, it's a zombie thing. You gotta include that somewhere. I'm gonna have to say that if that's the case, then the viral are very dangerous. And survival rating, I'm gonna have to put it down like 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. I could get infected, like, higher chance of getting infection. But if you get one solid hit, and as long as you're not surrounded by those guys, you're not getting a mob on you, I say they're kind of... Now that I think about it, I think that in-game, if you just give a quick, like, swift kick to the kneecap, they're out of commission. Which is kind of funny, not gonna lie. So let's see. We got the viral, we got the fighters, we got the gas tank. I talk about Toad. There's the goon dude, the big guy with the sledgehammer. Oh boy, no, you know what? 5 out of 10. If you're gonna ask why 5 out of 10, it's on the grounds that there's a good chance I'll just be able to outrun him. Straight up. Like, good chance I'm just gonna outrun the guy. I'm not gonna fight him. I'm not that dumb. I see a big zombie holding this concrete-like hammer thing. I'm walking away. The only time it'd be a problem is if I'm trapped in a room and have to get past him. That's when it becomes a problem. So my survival rating will go down significantly in those scenarios. You need to get off my little farm here. Thank you. But aside from that, I think as long as I run away, I should be fine. I also like to mention that this is only going up after, like, over the first Dying Light. I have yet to fully play Dying Light 2, though I have played, I think, a little bit out of Friends. So after the goon, we already covered the Toad, the bomber. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it, 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. The reason why is because, one, the explosion will most likely kill me. Like, on spot. And the worst thing is, these guys, I feel, are more ambush strategy rather than run at you strategy. I could very easily see this thing catching me off guard and unprepared, and then boom. That's it. No more me. That would be it. Huh. I mean, that is if I'm caught off guard. If I'm aware, then the greatest strength kind of changes into their greatest weakness, because if you pop them off from a distance, boom. easy, like kind of easy. So this is a mixed bag. Like if I'm caught off guard, straight up dead, no survival. If I'm aware, I'm still gonna have to say low. It kind of depends on where I'm getting ambushed. Am I getting ambushed in an open area, which honestly I don't think you ever encounter these guys in a big open area. I feel like they kind of hunt around like small quarters, which makes sense. They want to catch you by surprise and like get a good like explosion on you. So I have to say that most likely I'm gonna have to face them in a small corridor. So yeah, I want to say out of total rating with this zombie, I probably gotta have to give it like give me like a 3 out of 10. I think 3 out of 10 feels like a little generous, like a little believable. I was gonna say 2 out of 10, but I feel like it's either 2 or 1 out of 10 that I'm putting in. I kind of don't want to put it too negative. Like, just have some self-confidence in yourself. Dang, am I right? So after the bomber, we have the screamer, which is kid infected, and I'm just gonna say it. The worst thing about them is that they just attract virals to you. Threat-wise, they just attract the threat to you. They're not a problem at all. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to say 9 out of 10, though I am not gonna be killed by them specifically. Most likely, I'm going to get killed due to them if I'm surrounded because they started screaming. That's how I see it kind of working out. Then we have the big guy, the Demolisher. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, nah, I feel like this will kill me. As a score of 1 out of 10, I have to say 1. But I feel like that's only if I stay around and fight. If I flee, I feel like maybe 4 out of 10. Maybe 4 out of 10. On the grounds if I outrun it, which I feel like you can. It's just like once you get into a specific area, because they need open area to really attack you. If they don't have that, then they're kind of just like stuck. So, yeah. Also, I'm just kind of sick of putting myself like very low ranking because it's a little disheartening. Hey, how would you survive this? Oh, low? You're gonna die. Sorry. You're not survival material, kid. You're gonna die. God. Well, that's not going how I like it. I don't remember how the video did it. So, I don't remember what... Okay. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think about the numbers I gave out. And I'm trying to, like, tally them up, average them out. I guess this will be the final verdict. Fighters, I feel confident. I'm going to say final verdict, 4 out of 10. They're slow. That's it. They're just slow. Don't get me wrong. If they bit me, I'm infected and that's it. Granted, you do have something to keep you from turning, but that's still, you got to deal with the guy who's kind of, you know, deadly. So, yeah, fighters, 4 out of 10. The viral, I kind of feel a little confident with these guys. Not too confident where I think that I could take on an army of them. But despite, like, look, they're easily taken care of. Like, a swift kick to the knees and they're done. I'd say, like, give me a 5 out of 10. Like, honestly, if I want to be a little more positive. If I want to be a little more optimistic. 5 out of 10. Just cause. Gas tank, 9 out of 10, and the only reason why I think that, yeah, you know, it's off by 1 is on the ground side. I could just see, by mistake, I end up accidentally getting blown up by the gas tank when I tried to hit. Like, I can see that happening. That's why I'm putting it low. It works. They're gonna come over here. They're gonna sneeze a bit. There's not. Well, eventually... No. No, go. Ah. I hate it. I hate this. I hate this. I hate dealing with these things. Can I please just get the slime balls and continue with my life? Okay, I'm good. Not crashing out. I'm good. Not crashing out. So, getting back to what I was saying before I lose my patience even further. Gas tank's 9 out of 10. The only reason why it's 1 off is because I could see the gas tank explode in my face comically. And that'd be the thing that does me in. For the uncommon infected, we have the goons. Pretty low if I'm fighting them. But let's say I'm smart and keeping away, I'm gonna give myself a 5 out of 10. I mean, you don't even have to be smart to avoid them. They are very slow. Like, very slow. It feels like the only issue that you have is if you have to fight them. If that's the case, then it will be lower, but I don't see any reason why I would stick around to fight them if I don't have to. So, yeah. Let's say plot reasons, I don't have to fight these guys and I could just avoid it. I think that do pretty well, honestly. If you're sending me out on a mission, you must be desperate. So, it looks like it works. Small ones go through that hole. They go over there. They sneeze. The snot goes into the little thing. And you know what? Hopefully it won't take long. I say, knowing it's probably going to take long. Toad. I'm going to have to say that with the Toad, I'm going to keep it at a 4 out of 10. On the grounds is that I could see them just catching me by surprise. Like, they would spit at me from a distance. I wouldn't notice. If it's very deadly, then I could see it killing me. If it injures me, well, it might not be deadly, but it's like, it still injures me. That's gonna still leave me like very vulnerable. So, because of their surprise attack, I'm gonna say 4 out of 10. They have a slight advantage of that. Who's next? The Demolisher's up next, and well, I like to think it's kind of with the goon on this, where I don't see myself picking a fight with this guy. I think I could actively avoid him. But at the same time, he's not like the goon where I could simply walk away. If I am trapped in an area where he is, then I'm gonna have to, like, I'm kind of screwed in that sense. Like, yeah, no, this thing will kill me. Straight up kill me. But if we're talking about me being smart, then I have to say that if I could avoid it, 5 out of 10, and that's 50-50 shot on the ground, so I can avoid it, and say I don't have to get near it. I think those things could throw, like, I'm positive they could throw stuff, so say I avoid it, there's always a slight chance it could throw something at me and get me as I'm trying to run away. So, yeah, 5 out of 10. We're going to leave it at that. The Bomber. I don't know how I feel about this guy, because I really do feel like this one can't do me in, even if I'm aware of him. So, with the Bomber, I'm going to have to put him, like, my best shot is going to be 3 out of 10. Like, if I'm aware, maybe I have a better shot. If I'm not aware, I feel like I can survive, but it's gonna really, really hurt. Maybe. This is me being positive. Screamer! Well, like I said, 9 out of 10, but it's not killing me. It's getting something else to kill me. The worst it's gonna do is catch me off guard. But the second that I'm, like... It's like in the game. You hear a kid. You go check it out. Zombie kid. Now you know there's zombie kids. You're not gonna get fooled again. This is my first encounter with it. I'm gonna make a mental note. Hey, these things, they attract other zombies. Don't fall for it. So, 9 out of 10. I mean, their scream is loud, but I don't think it's loud enough to, like, burst an eardrum. So I think I should be good. We're going to take the average of the score. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entries so far. So I'm going to do some math real quick. Alright, if you add all the score up, you get to a number 44. Yeah, divide that by 8, and you get 5.5, which, yeah, I'm taking it as 55% now. Wait. Yeah, 55%. During the day, 5.5 out of 10 difficulty. If I'm out in the field. If I'm safe in the tower, I want to say it would be... I'd say give me a 7 on the ground, so I'm a lot more safer, but the chances of being attacked is still there. And we have... What's that noise? Yo, what's the noise? What's going on? Whoa, move. What's going on here? You okay? I swear there was more than one of you. What happened? Would you go? Yeah! Go, move. I'm trying to... 1, I want to know what the heck that noise was. 2, it did not sound friendly. 3, I really hate to think what it was. I'm hoping they just got whiny. Maybe they just got whiny. Maybe that was it. I'm thinking of the meme about the panda death sound, and I'm really hoping that was not it, because I could have sworn there were 3 of you here. Oh. Well, now I feel bad. Congratulations, game. You made me feel horrible. My contraption did something bad. Your stuff. Just... I'm confused. How? Why? You all kill me. You all kill me inside. Just slightly. You don't even mean to do it. And yet here you are doing it. Do I even get back to what I was saying? Because, you know, this kind of dampened my mood. Just slightly. I was just going to say that during the night, my chances go from 55% to very low, like 1%. Like, yeah. Again, that's assuming that I'm out in the open. If I'm out in the open, that's like... look. During night, there's a special zombie called a volatile, and there's quite a bit of these types. But regardless of what type you're looking... I mean, I guess if you really want to be technical... The one type that you don't have to worry about would, I believe, are called the Bolters, which, you know, the Bolter Volatile, they don't really fight. They just run off. Chances are they'll just, you know, alert more to you, which, again, the Volatiles you really don't want to be messing with because they are very dangerous. Take the strength of a Demolisher and add the agility of a Viral, and you have a Volatile. They are only weak to UV lights, and you know what? That is the only kryptonite they have. That is literally the only kryptonite they have. They are fast. They could jump high. If we're excluding, or if we're gonna include the Night Hunter that version is OP because that's a player version of the Voltile, basically. And that's just me summing it up. So, yeah, with the Voltile, I'm gonna say survival ranking out of 10. If I'm out in the open, 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. The only reason I have that 1 is if I have a UV flashlight on me to scare them off. I'm hoping that I have one that lasts a little longer in game, because if I don't, I am dead regardless. Like, man, even if I do have that to protect me from the Voltile, I'm still gonna have to deal with the spiders, the viral, like everything else that's popping up. Like, I am not safe at night if I'm outside of a safe zone. If I'm in a safe zone, then 10 out of 10, because, you know, it's a safe zone. They can't get in. Outside of it, dead. Straight up dead. There's no going around about it. So, during the daytime, a little bit of a 50-50, slightly 55% chance of surviving if I'm smart about the zombies. If I think it will increase to a good 7 out of 10 if I'm, you know, not out in the field. At night, drastically down. I want to say that if I'm in a place like Tower from the first game, most likely 100%. That's only because, you know, the UV lights keep out the Voltile out. So, yeah. We should be fine there, but if I'm out on the field, I'd say 1 out of 10 on the grounds. I have a weakness to exploit, but if you include the rest of the zombies I have to deal with, then that's, I'm gonna have to say that's probably a 0.5, like 0.5 me of surviving. Only because I'm kind of being a little realistic there. Like, I'm as optimistic as I like to be. I don't think optimism's gonna help me convince myself that I survive, like, realistically in that scenario. Okay, there is another infected called the Bruiser, but they're not that different. They're just like, they have a heavy hit, but they're like kind of like early stage goons. But I feel like it's not that important to consider. Like, it's from the following DLC. I'm looking at more, like, infected to see what I missed. I think I kind of covered them all. I mean, I didn't really go over the Night Walker or the Night Hunter, but it's like, I feel like that's from the player controlled aspect, and it's not really in-game that you'll survive. For at least a Night Hunter. And the Night Walker, well, that's just the viral at night. Like, yeah, that's essentially the Night Walker. It's just virals at night. So not much of a difference. I guess they might be slightly more dangerous, but I just don't think don't feel like it needs that much consider. Like, forget it, you know. Other than that, I think I got all of them. I'm gonna roll out, like, the Sentient Voltile because it's only really that one character, and you know, yeah, you do fight. It's like, I'm talking more like common enemies and just like one-off enemies, you know, like people that or zombies that you actually run into. I mean, I guess we could talk about Rice's Man, like they're enemies that you run into. And if you're wondering why I kind of skipped most of the enemies you run into Resident Evil, that's because I figured that 9 times out of 10, my survival ranking would have been like 1 out of 10 because they are strong. They probably rip an average guy like me to shreds. That's just my ruling. Like, imagine getting decked by Mr. X. You think you're getting up after that? The answer's no. The answer's no. With Reyes' Man, though, well, they got guns. Guns can't hurt. But at the same time, it's not like they are friends with the zombies. If they're not careful, they could get hurt by the zombie. So, really, I just have to be sneaky around them. They can't shoot you if they don't know where you are. So, I feel like with Race Man, it's like 50-50. Feel that kind of confident. You need to start sneezing soon. All of you, so I can leave. But with that being said, we're going to end this video here. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care. Please like and subscribe. And have a great day.